So thank you all for being part of this meeting today. And we want to talk about something that I know that is very important to who and what we are. And the title of this lesson today is The Essence of Me, the essence of you. And I did a little bit of research to understand what this means. And it says it's about recognizing our true spiritual nature. It's about understanding that we are not just physical beings. We are more spiritual than physical. So everything we see here, these bodies, they're all expressions of divine. We are spiritual beings having a physical existence. We often say that, we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. Dr. Greg always says that in the lesson. And what does that mean? That so long as we are in this physical body, we have to be subject to the things that affect the spiritual, the physical. But we also know that we are connected. We are one with the spiritual being. That is actually who we are. So in times of challenges, we can pull those connection, the spiritual strength that we have because of our connection and go through challenges. And we also knowing that everything that we are, everything about this physical, everything about what we want to be or do starts in mind. We're always talking about our consciousness. And if we can control our mind and what we think about, what we brood on, what we meditate on, we can also control what happens in the physical. Because like I said, we are spiritual beings. We just have a physical existence. So the spiritual controls always the physical. And when we know and we understand this, we are able to link every encounter and experience that we have, because we are knowing that we are spiritual beings and we're having a physical encounter. We're able to link every experience encounter as divine right action. Because fundamentally, if we are connected with divine, and we are just here on a physical body. So every activity, they are divine and they are right actions, fundamentally, because they are working out for our own good. And it's not just some, all things, they work out for our own good. Remember, I started with saying that everything about us is divine. We just have a physical body to manifest this divinity that we are. So the actual thing about us, everything we do, is divine. So every encounter I have with you, you have with any other thing, any other creature, with your pets, as you're walking along the road, they're all divine encounters. They're all holy encounters. And we are wanting to understand that the core of who we are, the essence, the totality of who we are is divine. And it is interconnected with universal power. So you'll be right to say that you are power moving around because you're connected to divine power. The source is power. The source is peace. The source is power. So you can say your love, your peace, because you are connected. You are one with that great power. That is the core of who we are. And something, while I was getting ready for this lesson, something came to mind, which we often say, Dr. Greg often says this, that in it we live, we move, and we have our being. And I'm like, this would be a very great way of explaining these are divine essence. Because everything that we are, we live in it, we move in it, and we have our being in it. So I'll try to go into a little elaboration on this, let me call it concept. We are saying that there is a divine presence and power within you, within me, and in all aspects of existence. And that's why when we say namaste, namaste, it's the divine in me saying hello to the divine in you. Everything we see around is divine. It's a creation, it's an orchestration of the divine. And it's appropriate to say everything we see here, we're just having a terrestrial manifestation. I mean, divine beings in physical bodies expressing divinity. That's who we are. And that's what it means when we say we live, we move, and we have our being in it. So when we say this also, we are trying to bring out the fact that there is a presence and we are not separate from this divine source. We are interconnected. It's an integral part of us. We are an extension of this divine source, of this universe. So everything we do, because we are an extension, is divine in action. It will also be right to say that everything we say or we do or we get ourselves in, they're all divine, completely divine. When we say living, moving, and having our being in it, it means all our experiences, achievements, and manifestations, they're all divine. Because we know we are divine, and everything we do expresses divinity, the divinity in us. And it brings me to another thing that we often talk about, mistakes. And when things happen, we say, oh, it was a mistake. But I like to see it from a different perspective, that mistakes are also orchestrations by the divine that we are connected to. And if we know who we are and that everything we do is in right action, God in action, and we also know that everything, even the mistakes, even the challenges, everything, it's working out for our own good, to bring us to an expected end, then we'll know that sometimes when we have challenges or mistakes, we know there are opportunities because we are divine, having a physical experience. Again, I also remember when we'd say, when we're having a challenge and we say, it is well. That is also a proclamation of faith, because we know our source, that our source is divine. So everything around might not be well, but because we are tapping onto that, our connection, and declaring that power that we are connected to, even in the midst of this situation, we are knowing that everything is well, because this is us taking on the power of creation that we also have into action. There's another aspect that will elaborate this: we live, we move, and we have our being in it. It's also an understanding that we are a spark of the divine. Within everybody is a spark of divinity. And I saw a little explanation about the meaning of spark of divine. And it says, it's the portion of God that resides within each human being, each creature. And it's complete. It's a complete portion. It's a whole portion that resides in you. It resides in me. But we also have to do something to make that portion of God that is in us active. And that is why we talk about coming to classes and practicing the teaching and all that. So we are knowing that we are a portion of God in everything that we do. That is also divinity in all of us. There's another quote I got about the divine spark, that it says the divine spark that you seek already is within you. Allow it to shine through you unobstructed, and it will eternally light your way. That divine spark, it's not outside of you. It is who you are. We just need to willingly allow the flow of this divine source into us, and it will direct everything. It will light our path. If it lights our path, then we'll see a way to move on. So it will give us direction. And there are other ways we can also do this. We can also get into the flow of what we want by affirmative declarations. We always talk about this affirmative treatment. I mean, it's a way of getting rid of every negativity, anything that we don't want out, and filling it up with positive things. So each time we talk about we live, we move, and we have our being in it, we're trying to emphasize our oneness and the interconnectedness we have with everything. We are trying to remind ourselves that we are one with God. We are one with the Creator. We are connected, interconnected with everyone, because we are the spark of the divine. It's in you, it's in me, it's in everything you see. It's in the flowers that you see. It's in the air that you breathe. You always see this. It's everywhere, in and around. It's in everything, the flowers, everything that is around us. We all have this. It has this spark of divine, because in it we live, we move, and we have our being. And sometimes it calls for us to be sensitive to the activities, because it can happen in mysterious ways. There are things that happen, and you're wondering, oh, I don't expect this. God, divinity can manifest in mysterious ways. It can come in your dream. It can come through anybody. It can come through your pet. Because everything in and around is divine. And it only takes when we are sensitive to the activities of the divine that we hear the divine speak to us. It can come in our intuition and everything around us. So we want to be attentive in our mind. We want to be listening to our intuition. We want to listen to things that just flash through our minds and say, oh, it was just this. It's the divine trying to catch your attention. And when we also talk about living in it and moving in it and having our being, we're also knowing that what they call limitations, because we are physical bodies, what we call limitations, from the divine perspective, there are opportunities to greater heights. So if we are knowing that we live in it, we move in it, and we have our being, we interpret challenges, limitations, hindrances, hurdles as opportunities, as the divine trying to catch our attentions, because if we apply the principles that we teach through this, in the midst of those challenges, we'll come out better, because they are actually opportunities. And we're also knowing that nothing just happens. If we apply our mind, apply the principles, practice the teaching, the result that we want would come. It won't just fall on our laps. So, and what happens, we have to activate these blessings or whatever we want with our faith and innate power that we have, that we are connected to. So when we also talk about living in it, moving in it, and having our being, we are also knowing that we have access to everything that we need for life and godliness. It's a 24-hour access. There's no time that you call on it or call on who you are or go within you, and it will not be activated. It's a 24-hour access to everything good. If you ask, if you seek, you'll find anytime you will get it. It's constantly available. So when we're talking about in it, we live, we move, and we have our being, we also knowing that we have a constant access to power, to resources that we can draw on. And I like this aspect that we always talk about. Dr. Greg often emphasizes that we are active participants. We are not just a standby. If you want to, living in it, moving in it, and having your being in it also means that you listen to these lessons and you practice it. Whatever you want to see in your life, you are the only important person in this. So we are active participants in what we want to create. We are active participants in the results that we want. So I would just read some important quotes that I got about living, moving, and having our being in it. And it says, within you is a divine presence, the power that knows all and it's all. I don't know if we get this. Within you is the divine power, the presence, and it knows all, and it's all. So everything you need, you have it. You have all that you need for life and for everything you want to do is within you. And that's why this teaching is to help us activate it. When we hear the principles and practice it, we are activating our abilities and to go within and pull on that 24-hour access to power, to greatness. Nobody will do it for you. You have to do it yourself. And in it you live, you move, and you have your being. This is from Ernest Holmes. Then the life force that animates you is the same life force that flows through all creation. Earlier in the lesson I said, yeah, it's in your dog, it's in the flowers, it's in everything, it's in the air you breathe. It's all around. We are swimming in it, within and without, all aspects of our life. It is in you, around you, and moves through you. And recognize this divine presence within and live in harmony with it. We had a lesson passed here that when we align who we are and everything that we are to that of the divine, we have everything. We have prosperity, we have health, we have abundance, we have direction. Another one says that the true self is divine expression. In it you live, you move, and you have your being. Align your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with this divine essence, and you will manifest the highest possibilities in life. So your demonstrations, your manifestations is tied to your aligning with the divine. Awaken to the presence of the divine within you, feel it, embrace it, and let it guide your every thought and action. And knowing that in it you live, you move, and you have your being. You are a unique expression of the divine presence. You have the power to consciously align your thoughts and intentions and actions with the divine essence. And in it you live, you move, and you have your being, and it creates a state of harmony and fulfillment. Like I said earlier, the essence of who we are, these are connection to divine. This is the core of who we are. And we're saying that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. So when we consciously align to who we are, we'll have peace and harmony all around us. And of course, I need not say what happens when we are not in connection with it. So that is that I'm going to just, in a nutshell, briefly talk about living in it, moving in it, and having our being. Then I will get back to all of us, so we'll discuss how we are living our divine lives. So when we say living in it, it refers to the practice. We always talk about practice, consciously living in alignment, practicing. We practice who we are. We step out in faith. We walk our faith. Moving in it, taking action in the direction of what we want, in direction and alignment with the divine essence. Then having our being, we are talking about manifesting this divine essence. Talk about maybe seeing the qualities of the divine in us. I love manifesting those things: love, compassion, wisdom, peace, joy, kindness, forgiveness. And there's another one that I like so much from the Bible. It says the things that we can think on if we are talking about being it. It means putting your mind to everything that is true, everything that is noble, everything that is right, everything that is pure, and everything that is lovely. These are ways that we can manifest being it. So another area of manifesting of the essence of who we are, it's also cultivating trust and surrendering to the divine flow. And when we talk about this, we mean letting go of control. Most times we want to control outcomes. We want to control every situation. These are also things that withhold us or hinder us from manifesting who we are. So when we surrender to the flow, we open ourselves up for opportunities and unexpected blessings. When we try to control everything in and around us, that's forming some resistance. So we are constantly to be in alignment of this divine essence because it's limitless. Everything about it is limitless, it's abundant, it's powerful. It has the greatest potential to take us to any height that we want to. So I'm going to discuss a little bit ways that we can, practical ways to live in it, move in it, and have our being in it. These are things that we talk about every time. We talk about being in the moment, cultivate self-awareness, center yourself. We do that every Sunday, beginning of the center. We center ourselves through meditation. We'll be here now, and when we are here now, every other thing, every distraction, it's behind us. We're in the moment, and we are sensitive to who we are, to the Spirit. We practice, we listen to our intuition. This is also Spirit prompting us in different ways. We practice gratitude. We let go of attachments. I talked about the surrendering ourselves to the divine flow and trust everything unfolds according to the higher power. We can cultivate stillness. We often say that in quietness and confidence shall our strength be. Be still and know. Some things happen. We hear some things when we are quiet. It doesn't just mean necessarily removing noise. Calm yourself down. Meditation. We can surround ourselves with inspiration. These are ways of getting in tune with who we are. Listen to things that inspire you. We can practice self-love, self-care. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I approve of myself. I love and accept and approve of myself. This is a fundamental thing we talk every Thursday during the self-healing class, Louise's self-healing class. Another way of also doing this, living in it, moving in it, and having is through service and contribution. There's so many ways, contribution through your giving. Doesn't necessarily have to be money. Give your time, give your resources. We have volunteer programs here at the center. So these are ways, and so many other ways that we can practice living in it, moving in it, and having your being in it, because this is who we are. This is exactly who we are. We are one with the great one. We are one with the universe, and everything that we are, everything that God is, we are. It only takes a conscious effort for us to always remind ourselves that we are complete, we are whole. We have this power within us, and we can go within and use it for our own good constantly. Like I said, it's a 24-hour access. The only hindrance will be our mind. And that's why I like this teaching, because we are constantly focusing on the things that gives us those abilities to create what we want. Every negative thing that is down, we don't want it. And we're constantly learning how to get rid of those negations in mind, because we have this power to create. If you're always focusing on the negative, you create the negative. So I would stop here, and I would like to hear from you how you're manifesting everything that you are, knowing that you are created for greatness, and if there are things that are coming on your way, how are you realigning these thoughts to be creative?